Hello and welcome to another episode of the Smash Accept podcast. I'm your host, Michael Royer. You can find me on Twitter at Dynasty Dad FF. Joined as always by my main man at FF Snoog. It's super exciting, guys. We just smashed 4,000 subscribers on YouTube. We're on our quest to 5K by July. So help us out. Smash that, follow button down below. Subscribe to the channel. We're bringing you absolute fire content every single day. Like today, we're going to talk about Dynasty Sells before it's too late. And Snoog, at Smash Accept, our process on selling players, and this isn't going to be your typical list. Most podcasts, they're going to tell you to sell Devontae Adams, to sell, guys that are right there past their prime. They're going to tell you to sell Alvin Kamara. They're going to tell you to sell obvious players that it's too late. We're bringing you guys, because of the process that we do, we're bringing you guys that their value is pretty much peaked right now, and we're going to try to sell at the best opportune time.
Yeah, and that's what I love that you said, because not every sell has to be this guy's bad or we want to sell him because we don't think he's going to do good. A lot of it, too, comes down to where they're going. They're relevant, cost equivalent in startups and in comparison to rookie picks as well. So I'm excited for this show because we got a good lineup of guys here, all players that, aren't scrubs. They're all good players. They're all good values, and they're all highly taken in startups. So we're going to kind of break down our process and help you kind of understand that and knowing when to sell a player on your dynasty roster.
So the first one, I'm going to start out hot because people are going to get crazy. So I'm selling Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley just turned 28 years old. He's the super flex equivalent of the 103. And I know most of you guys out there are going to come at me and say, hey, Dad, this is crazy. Do you remember last year, this same exact time, I was telling everybody in the fantasy industry to sell Christian McCaffrey for Saquon Barkley plus. And I was doing it everywhere. And a lot of you guys were like, that's crazy. Now we're going to start talking about, now it's time for Saquon. There, he finished with 482 touches, Snoog. That's sixth most all time. If you look at running backs who have this many touches, and my man Jesse Morse on Twitter had a great post about this. Since 1998, there have been 41 running backs who have 400 plus touches. Their average PPR finish in that particular season, they finished 3.6, so somewhere between RB3, RB4 overall. The following season, they went from RB3, 4 range to average of RB18 with just 12 games played. So on an average sample size of 41 players, they went down from a full 17-game slate down to 12. And yes, there's going to be some guys that skew the numbers, but we're talking about from 1998 on. If you want to talk about currently from 2018 up until now, there's been 4 running backs who have had 400 touches. They've all finished inside the top 3. And that part's obvious. They're going to smash. The following season, they have finished with only 7 games played out of that group. And Snoog, I love Saquon Barkley. If I'm an all-in contender, it's really hard for me to even consider moving off. And I know that we're talking about he is the super flex equivalent of the 103, but I'm not selling him straight up for the 103. I'm going to get creative. I'm going to come up with some ideas of how to sell him. But right now, his ADP is 20, which is RB4 overall. I agree with the RB4 overall, but at 20 overall, you're taking him above Drake May, Drake London, Nico Collins, Justin Herbert, Caleb Williams. Like, I just can't get behind this. If you're doing a startup, you cannot invest with your secondary piece of your entire team as a 28-year-old running back. Win now or not, it just isn't the process to do things. And, I have sold him on multiple teams. And most of what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to insulate. And if you guys aren't familiar with our work, we talk about insulated trades all the time. I sold Saquon Barkley, and for what I believe to be a top 4 27 first, Saquon Barkley for James Cook and what I believe to be a top 4 27 first. I sold Saquon Barkley for Bucky Irving and a mid 27 first. I've sold him, for Travion Henderson and a mid 27 first. And that's what I'm saying to do is get creative, find an opportunity where you can get a younger running back that you believe in. I did it last year with McCaffrey. And in the same league, Snoog, I traded McCaffrey for Saquon Barkley in a random 25 first. That random 25 first became 105. So I took Travion Henderson. Now you know what I'm doing? Now I'm trading Saquon Barkley for the next. I'm going to go try to get a random 26 or 27 first plus one of these guys. And now all of a sudden you look at it and you're like, damn, he went from Christian McCaffrey to Travion Henderson. That's a win. Now we're talking about doing it again with Saquon Barkley. I love the player. You guys know I'm a Philly guy, so when I say this stings. Snoog, let's pull up some trades here because I am not saying blindly sell Saquon Barkley. A lot of you guys are really going to get on my case about it. I'm not blindly selling him. It's just I need to find the right trade. I need to find something where if I do a reduced volatility, right? Saquon and a wide receiver that isn't quite as good, say maybe let's do like Saquon and Zay Flowers, and then I get myself Drake London and Caleb Johnson. You know what I mean? Like I get an elite wide receiver and I get myself a younger running back.
Yep, I love that. And right away, some great trades on here that kind of fits the mold that we're talking about with turning a Saquon Barkley is because if I'm selling him, I think the play is trying to get a young stud wide receiver like a guy that we're going to talk about. Two guys we're actually about to talk about right now because it's doable. And two of these trades are completely different. So the first one is Saquon Barkley for Marvin Harrison Jr. And you get the 1-2 swap in there. So you get the 27 first on the Marv side, the 27 second on the Saquon side. Let's just say they're both late. What are you doing with that trade?
I mean, I know it's not consensus, but on most of my teams, I want Marvin Harrison Jr. over Saquon Barkley.
I do too.
And I think right now the line is Drake London for most people, but if I can get any kind of plus like this, even a second, I think I would do it. But the 27 1-2 swap is an absolute smash except to get Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, and speaking of Drake London, how about Drake London and the 109 for Saquon Barkley and Terry McLaurin? So you're basically, like you said, you're getting that cornerstone asset wide receiver in London, and then you're getting a higher pick equivalent for Terry McLaurin than what he's worth in this trade.
Yeah, and this is a smart type trade where you go ahead and it's that second part, right? Where you go ahead and you turn that pick into something better. You upgrade it where Terry McLaurin's not worth that pick, but you go ahead and you add that on there. And again, we are not saying blindly sell him. We're not saying this blindly sell this next guy. Snoog, he has come on and been an absolute dominant tight end. Dynasty tight end 1 is rookie season. Sam LaPorta is someone that a lot of people really love. I want to get your comments here on why you're selling Sam LaPorta.
Yeah, we already saw the big regress in year 2 from year 1. He wasn't living up to as good of a, first year that he had. I think the talent's there. The offense is super crowded. They lost so many pieces on offense in that coaching staff. They lost their offensive coordinator, who was literally the mastermind behind all the operations happening in Detroit the past 2 years. They have Gibbs. Jameson Williams is fully healthy now. Amon-Ra St. Brown is fully healthy now. There's Dave Montgomery. There's Jahmyr Gibbs. They have a lot of mouths to feed. I just don't think LaPorta is going to be able to live up to, tight end 3 overall type of hype or top 3 finisher to be as high as he is, getting him 4th round of startups, 5th round of startups, wherever he's going. Even some leagues, ADP 40, some leagues he's in the 3rd round if it's a high tight end premium league. So I think the play with him is turning him into George Kittle plus, Colston Loveland plus, Tyler Warren plus, TJ Hawkinson plus, because I really think all those guys can outscore him within the next 2 seasons, no doubt. And I know for a fact George Kittle's outscoring him this year. Not even close either. He's gonna blow the doors off him.
The deals I'm trying to get is go down to Evan Ingram, David Njoku, get a 27 first thrown on top of there. But Snoog, I mean, this is who he's going in this range. Sam LaPorta goes 1 pick after Tedroy McMillan. He goes above Jonathan Taylor, Cam Ward, Rashee Rice, Travion Henderson, T. Higgins, Brock Purdy. I mean, that's some really talented area where I'm not considering Sam LaPorta there. And I think a lot of that comes down to at Smash Accept, we're always saying to invest in George Kittle. We're talking about, Colston Loveland goes 3 rounds later. You move all the way down to Tucker Kraft goes 100 picks later. 100 picks. Like Tucker Kraft finished tight end 10 last year. He's got a lot of upside. You move all the way down to Evan Ingram's 86 picks later. It's just don't even mess with it.
I was just going to say, Sam LaPorta, 60 receptions, 86 receptions. 86 receptions as a rookie is great. He hasn't even had over 900 receiving yards. Last year, he had 60 for 720 and 7 touchdowns, and he missed 1 game. He's got to hit
that 10 touchdowns.
That's so average. That's pretty good for a tight end, right? It's not bad. It's pretty good, but it's not 4th round. If you get that again, he better drop 4 or 5 spots because that's ridiculous. If you're relying, that's bad production to rely on for a guy that's putting up tight end 3 overall number or tight end 3 overall ADP in the 4th round of startups. That's ridiculous.
Let's go from a guy putting up tight end 3 ADP to the guy who's a tight end 3 or better all the time. George Kittle in a random 26 first, or LaPorta, Keon Coleman, and Daniel Jones, which a lot of people are starting to believe Daniel Jones is the starter, but throwing in Keon Coleman and Daniel Jones is not enough. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. George Kittle in the first I think you can get these type of deals done. I'm comfortably fine if I have Sam LaPorta packaging up anybody worth a second or even a second and a third or second and a small piece to get Kittle in any first or get Kittle in a second or 2 just for LaPorta.
And perfect spot. I mean, Colston Loveland in a random 26 first, or LaPorta and Jacoby Myers. Even if you replace Jacoby Myers with what would be a random 26 second, I mean, you're doing that. Loveland in the first.
I have Loveland over Sam LaPorta straight up. So yeah, all day long.
How about this one? Here's a little bit of insulation. We're going to go Travis Etienne, random 26 first, 26 second, or Sam LaPorta. So you get
Travis
3 picks,
Etienne.
2 picks there. Etienne gives you a little bit of upside. One more here for the fans, because this one's kind of cool too, because I talked about being in that similar area. T. Higgins in a 4th, or Sam LaPorta in a 3rd?
T. Higgins. I'm low on Sam LaPorta. Like I actually am low on him. I think he'll be always like a good tight end. He's a good player. I don't think he's a Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Rob Gronkowski, Brock Bowers type of tight end, Trey McBride. But I do think he can be like a Mark Andrews, some of these guys, but he's going to need 10, 12 touchdowns to be, a top 3 finisher, like a good finisher on a good year. And tight ends get more and more competitive. So there's just better options.
You talk about tight end. You need tight ends needing touchdowns. Running backs need touchdowns too. And, we saw his first 2 seasons, James Cook only had 2 touchdowns, finished, more in that late RB2 range. This year, he went crazy. He went up there with 16 rushing touchdowns, 18 total touchdowns on an elite level offense. So why am I selling here? And I know that's going to be a thing is like, Dad, what's the process? Why are we selling here? If you look at what James Cook did, and again, he is going at ADP 53. That's RB 14. That's a solid range. He's going above players like, let's say, Roma Dunze, Christian McCaffrey, Jared Goff, Chase Brown, Devonta Smith, even over Quinshon Judkins and JJ McCarthy in some drafts. And that's really what I'm looking at is I treat the running back position as a production thing, production versus cost. And when you see what James Cook, his season in 2024 was a true anomaly. I mean, 46th in qualifying running backs at explosive run rates, 20th in explosive run rate. Somebody that just in 11th in missed tackles. These are not numbers that jump off the page at you. He's a top 15, top 20 running back, but that touchdown rate that he had was not anything close to anything we've ever seen before. I mean, inside the red zone, he was rushing at a much higher percentage for touchdown rates. He is someone that statistically has never done this before. And I think selling the anomaly to get James Cook and give up James Cook and get a 27 first plus something is really the way to go. I mean, I sold him for Alvin Kamara in a 27 first. And I think that's the type of principle you want, even down to you had ETN before, but I mean, if I could go to James Conner plus a 27 first at Smash Accept, we are always trying to talk about insulate. And if I told you at the end of the year that James Conner had more fantasy points than James Cook, you wouldn't be shocked. But you get that 27 first on there that's only going to go up. We're not saying blindly sell. We're saying sell at cost. And James Cook is one of those guys for me because I think you can get a really nice return.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to, right? It's kind of fulfilling that production, getting that production back for a year or two, and then getting a first, which is probably gonna be the best damn player in the trade when you make that pick.
Correct.
Especially at 27 first. So right away, I'm gonna hit you with a Dynasty Dad special. Aaron Jones in a mid 27 first, James Cook in a random 26 second.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think you need to necessarily get that 26 second, but I have no problem paying it because Aaron Jones is one of just 3 running backs last year with over 50 receptions and 250 touches. The other 2, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson. Aaron Jones, despite Jordan Mason, is going to put up really high-end RB2 numbers, and he's going to give you solid production. Then you get the insulation with that 27 first, which is only going to go up. Those things are honestly absolute gold right now, Snoog.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's a couple trades right here that I think are lined up perfectly for you to be able to execute. And I'm going to rattle off two of them, and then you tell me which side you would rather. James Cook and Tyrone Tracy, or the 105, which in this case would be Travion Henderson or Quinshon Judkins, whoever you want, or James Cook and Josh Downs or Marion Hampton. So it's both turning James Cook plus into a better, younger rookie running back who were both super high on Hampton, Henderson, Judkins.
Oh, yeah. First off, the Hampton one, that's a smash. I mean, Amarion Hampton is the ceiling of what James Cook had a phenomenal season, but Amarion Hampton value where he went in the draft, someone that's going to have extreme longevity. You're already, you're shaving off 3 years just by adding a little bit in there and moving way up in value. The next one, I love that one too, because at 105, I've seen Tedoroy McMillan fall there. It really depends on who falls in that area, but you're going to get either Hunter, McMillan, Ward, or Henderson. And I love the players in that range all over James Cook right now. And there's a disconnect between player value, rookie values, and startup values right now. And I think Henderson goes a full 12 to 14 picks above James Cook, but in your rookie drafts, you can still make that trade. And being able to take what we do in our startups, what we do in rookie drafts, what we do in everything is how we start to make value. I mean, and the way we're doing that right now is through our Discord. Snoog, tell everybody about what's been going on in the Discord, because it has been a wild place and we're running a discount right now.
Yeah, everybody thinks it's just a Dynasty Discord. We do everything. We do all the redraft stuff. It's still early in the season. We're working on it. That's part of what we're doing. Lately, I've been working on a top 200 big board, redraft ADPs. We do an underdog best ball section for people, but all of our Dynasty rankings, both Dynasty Dads and we have moderators in there answering questions 24/7. We're in there answering questions 24/7 every day. DM access. We have all of our rookie rankings, rookie big boards. We have, I put out player sells. Dad puts out his player sells and buys. So we're just trying to give you basically a lot more than what we ever put out on Twitter. We don't put our rankings on Twitter anymore. Stuff like that all goes to the Discord. And you're just getting access. The best part is it's a community. So you're not you're getting all of our stuff, but you're getting in leagues with people running leagues 24/7 in there, running mock drafts, rookie mocks, startup mocks. It's where you need to be.
And you see David Estrada put, this Discord has been absolute fire. Right now, we're running with code DAD50. It's a little bit of a Father's Day giveaway. 50% off your first month. Just come in and try it. Dip your toes in. Everyone that's in there right now, we're approaching 850 people in there. Every single person has said, Dad, I've been in other Dynasty Discords, and all they do is post their rankings. And then they'll post whatever they put on Twitter. You guys are interactive, and it's created a community where people are in there. Literally, I went to bed. I entered all my DMs and I went into just the trade section. And from 1 a.m., and I was up till 1 a.m. From 1 a.m. till 10 a.m., there were 72 messages. These are ones where you just keep going. You post your trade. What do you think of this? On Twitter, you post Twitter polls. Everybody, the trolls come out. In there, you can post them and you'll get real analysis. People will answer them. You have so many different analysts in there talking shop. I'm sorry, we got to plug that. Some of you guys are like, you guys keep talking about it. When I believe in a product, I'm going to push it. Snoog and I really believe in that. I believe you guys are going to want that. So again, if you guys, I'll post it down there one more time. It's patreon.com/smash accept. Code DAD50 gets you 50% off your first month. If you use code DAD30, you'll get 30% off the year. That's the big sale. If you have been sitting on the fence and you are interested in joining, that is the cheapest price you will see, and it's only going to be this week. Next guy, I don't know if it's the cheapest price. I don't know if it's the best price. You and I did not love the prospect, but damn, people are falling in love with Michael Penix Jr. I've seen crazy overpays. I've seen crazy undersells. Why are you selling Michael Penix Jr. and at what cost?
Yeah, he's just expensive to a Tagovailoa right now. There's zero rushing upside. He's not a great elite talent. He's a decent, capable pocket passer. He's a good game manager type of quarterback. Your Derek Carrs, maybe your Kirk Cousins on the high ends. But where he's going over guys like Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, Justin Fields, Bryce Young, a lot of these guys that are better quarterbacks, better talents than him, they might not have the situation like him, but he's going around the range of T-Law, Baker Mayfield, some of these guys that I think are much better caliber quarterbacks with a way higher ceiling. And there's no risk. Penix is already, almost 25, 26 years old. going into year 2. I think he is 26 years old right now today before he even plays a second year snap. I don't know what people see with this kid. Like, I think I see upside in terms of, putting together a game script, being able to hit the open man, like simple things. But when it's like games out of script, he needs to do more than ask. Like, this guy is as statue and as situational of a quarterback as you get. Falcons have a decent situation. Drake London, Bijan Robinson, they have a good offensive line with some all pros up on the front. Chris Lindstrom's one of the guys right guard over there for the Falcons. But to me, I think that he doesn't have the upside that people think he has. And he's just an overpriced, Tua, Dak, T-Law, Baker Mayfield. Like, those guys are all going to outproduce him, and they're around the same range or cheaper. So let's jump into some of the trades here.
Yeah, the tricky part with Michael Penix Jr., I mean, Snoog, last year, he played in 3 games. He had 775 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And it was that last game that really made it look good, where he threw 2 touchdowns. He looked really good with Drake London, where Carolina was missing multiple cornerbacks. The other thing you got to look at with Michael Penix Jr. is 2 ACL tears. Snoog, he did just turn 25, so he's not 26 yet. He will be 25 this year. But as far as the second-year quarterback, all of our other guys, I mean, we're looking at guys that are 22 years old. He's the same age, as Trevor Lawrence, just as seen a little bit different. So let's pull up these trades. The interesting part with Michael Penix Jr., and you're going to see some of these trades where you're like, what the heck? Like the first one, Michael Penix Jr. for Sam Darnold. What were you thinking to get Sam Darnold? That's not what we're saying to sell. But the other one here, Snoop, Garrett Wilson or Michael Penix Jr.?
Garrett Wilson, 10 times out of 10, not even thinking twice.
Yeah, and like A.J. Brown.
I'd just accept it.
A.J. Brown in a 4th or Penix in a 2nd. Like, this is the type of deal. You drafted him at, 202 to 205? Now you use him to get an elite stud.
Yeah. You literally
Devonta
take him
Smith
and get a cornerstone wide receiver. That's the play with him, or you upgrade at quarterback.
Well, and that's what I was going to say next. These next 2, Penix in a 3rd or Purdy, or Devonta Penix in a 2nd for Mahomes. That's the way to do this, right?
Mahomes, Purdy, 2 smashes. That's bravo right there. And I'll even do the one below it, Michael Penix in a mid to late 26 first for Caleb Williams.
Yeah,
like,
I saw that one.
Use them to upgrade.
Yeah, I'm all aboard on that one. I think that's the way to play it. One more here for you. Let's go. This one, Jalen Hurts or Jackson Smith and Jigba and Michael Penix. And the Jalen side's got picks thrown in, but I'm just saying straight up, would you rather have Hurts or JSN and Penix? Yeah,
Hurts,
the rest of that trade,
either.
They got Cup, a 27 second and a 27 third, which what are we doing here?
There's like a weird hive of like Michael Penix truthers out there that like get all hurt and upset when you say to sell them. Like, oh, he did this. He's so good. Like, he's mid. You can have fun with him. I'll draft QBs with real upside.
It's tough because I've seen him. I mean, like that Sam Darnold deal. Are you kidding me? Like, go ahead and get Michael Penix.
Exactly.
Do that all day long, right?
He's a buy if you can steal him.
I've seen it. I bought him for the 110 in the rookie draft when I needed a quarterback, and I'm like, I'm fine with that.
I like that.
Speaking of the 110, Derrick Henry has gone from this offseason being worth the 201 to the 112. Now all of a sudden on Dynasty Dad Lab, he's going at the super flex equivalent of the 109. And Snoog, I love Derrick Henry. You know I do. And in 2024, at that age 30 season, 1,921 rushing yards, 16 touchdowns, 19.8 fantasy points per game, and a career high 5.9 yards per carry. And I know he's found the fountain of youth. I mean, I know he has. It's crazy. But now, Snoog, he's 31, and his value has risen because he signed a 2-year deal. Just because he signed a 2-year deal does not mean that the Ravens are, they want him to play for the next 2 years. But at 32, you're betting on a absolute statistical anomaly. And the fact that I would buy him, honestly, on my contenders, if I can get him for a late first or add a little bit. But Snoog, his ADP is on the rise. He's going at RB 17, ADP 60 right now on Dynasty Data Lab. That is one pick before Devonta Smith. That is above Xavier Worthy, Tyler Warren, Zay Flowers, Kenneth Walker, Dak Prescott, Colston Loveland. Like, guys, stop. I traded him for RJ Harvey and Calvin Ridley about a month ago. RJ Harvey should be ranked higher than Kenneth Walker. Caleb Johnson should be ranked higher. Like these guys, it doesn't make sense. And as much as I love Derrick Henry and I love watching him, and he's a touchdown machine, and if he stays healthy, sure, he'll score 16 touchdowns again this year. But if he gets hurt, his value goes from 109 to nothing, like to mid-second, late second, because now we're talking about that recovery time is completely different. I'm 44. My recovery time from hooping with my kids is not the same. He's 31. And we're talking about, a running back position where most guys, by the time they're 27, they start to really dip in production. And this is the only guy where I'm going to say, I think right now you could get Kamara or Mixon and a first for Henry in a second. And that value just doesn't make sense. Derrick Henry is good. He is phenomenal. But I'm saying sell him now if you're not all in contender.
Yeah, he's one of those, like, we told everyone to buy him when he went to the Ravens, right? And everyone's like, 30-year-old running back going to a new team. Everyone said the same thing with Saquon Barkley to the Eagles. We were all over it. We were pounding the drum for buying them. They were both absolutely insane last year. I had them on so many teams, and I won so many championships because of both of them. But now it's like we can still like the player and still say that they're a sell and still sell high on them to get another. Like Alvin Kamara has been toe-to-toe with all these running backs that are super high valued, like CMC, Henry, and Saquon for the past 8 years or better in points per game. He's been as good or better than all of them, and he's worth significantly less. So that's kind of like the process is that we're trying to find the value. So if I can get Kamara in a first for Henry in a second, and then by the time we make that first-round pick, it's going to be the most valuable asset in the trade. That is how you build the super team in Dynasty.
Yeah, let's hear a couple of Derrick Henry trades.
Yeah, so right away, DJ Moore and Derrick Henry, or the 108 and a 26 first.
Yeah, I went the 108 there. I mean, I think Derrick Henry at the 108, and then like DJ Moore right now has dipped. Like I had DJ Moore up a little bit higher before the Bears went and completely. But I mean, if I'm all in, I have no problem with that. But I think at 108 and that 26 first, I'm going to be able to do a lot more in Dynasty. So that one's very team dependent, but I lean towards the pick.
I got one for you. Sam LaPorta and Derrick Henry, or RJ Harvey, Kyle Pitts, a 26 first and a 26 second, all mid picks.
That one's actually hard. That one I understand. Like I see, and that's because you're kind of way up there. You're off of LaPorta. I'm not off on LaPorta, but I think it's a very fair trade. And I think that's what's awesome about Dynasty, right? Is you don't have to trust 100% what Snoog says or 100% what I say. You go somewhere in the middle and you form your own opinion, but then you take it to your league. And that's why we show you these trades, right? It's like, so you can take them to your league. If you've been trying to sell LaPorta, you've been trying to sell Derrick Henry, go ahead and this is your opportunity.
Yeah. What about James Conner in a 27 first or Derrick Henry in a 27 second?
Oh, it's Conner. And I think Conner is going to give you 70% of the production of Derrick Henry, maybe 80%, but that 27 first, man, that's what we talk about all the time is those 1-2 swaps. And I think you could probably even make it a 1-3 swap. That's how high people are on Derrick Henry.
And I think the play too is finding a non-hot commodity like a Tony Pollard, a Brian Robinson, a Ramondre Stevenson, one of those type of running backs, right? Getting a 26 first and selling Derrick Henry, or getting a 27 first and get one of those Pollards on top and selling Derrick Henry. Because not everyone's going to want to give up, Kamara to go to Henry.
Oh,
it depends, but
Pollard's a good one. I'm not buying Rams so much, but Pollard, ETN, Brian Robinson,
Pollard.
Pacheco, those are guys that have lost value but should have production. This is the last one that I think is going to spark some people. This one is Bo Nix, super flex equivalent of the 104 right now. Snoog at the ADP of 26, QB 11. But then if you look on Keep Trade Cut, and this is what's interesting, right? That's Dynasty Data Lab. This is Dynasty Data Lab is pure startup values, and he's going right now, Snoog, at one pick behind CJ Stroud, above Marv, above Ladd, above A-Chain, above JSN, above Jordan Love, like in a very interesting spot. So talk to me a little bit about why you'd be selling Bo Nix.
Yeah, and it's not even that I think he's like a bad player. I think we're kind of confused on what Bo Nix really is as a talent. I think he's more in that Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins type of trajectory as an NFL quarterback for his future than he is with, a Justin Herbert, a Joe Burrow. And I think people have him kind of mixed up and think he's a lot better than he is just because of his rookie season and what he did. a lot of his plays were just broken splash plays. Like there is when you need to do something out of structure and do something more than the situation asks. Bo Nix isn't Patrick Mahomes. He's not Josh Allen. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not, some of these big playmakers that can do things off scripture, can throw for 4,500 yards, 40 touchdown passes, and bring your team to the Super Bowl or to the second, third round of the playoffs, right? He's not like these guys. He is a good player, and I do think that he's worth a top, 14, 15 quarterback in Dynasty right now, but I think he's more closer. He's right there with like a Brock Purdy, a Dak Prescott, a Trevor Lawrence type of talent than he is with, a Jordan Love, a Justin Herbert, a CJ Stroud, a Joe Burrow, a Caleb Williams, these type of guys. I don't think he has the tools and the skill set to be as good as those guys. I just think he's a bit overpriced. And even if you go outside of the quarterbacks, like you said, Marv, AJ Brown, Ladd, JSN, all these corner, Nico Collins, you could probably get Nico for Bo Nix in a third or a second. Puka, some of these guys, give Bo Nix in a second or something like that. But you can look at it from all lenses. It doesn't have to just be, I'd rather Jordan Love, so Bo Nix is overvalued. What about, A-Chain, or what about these elite young foundational assets that you just mentioned? And that's how I kind of look at it when I'm looking at a quarterback. And the best thing too is if you have, Josh Allen, and then you have Caleb Williams and Bo Nix, because you drafted Bo Nix in the second round of your rookie drafts, and you're like, crap, now I have 3 stud quarterbacks and I'm weak at wide receiver. Okay, go flip Bo Nix for Jackson Smith and Jigba, or Garrett Wilson plus, or one of these guys, and then snag a Matt Stafford for a second. Like that's how you got to do it and kind of structure your roster.
This is the perfect trade here is Bo Nix, 2 mid 25 seconds and a random 26 first, or Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, Malik Neighbors all day long.
They got Bo Nix, the 104, the 204, and the 304, or Drake May and BTJ.
Yep. Drake May and BTJ, baby.
I mean, I think the value, and this is another one here where I just don't
pull up the screen.
Oh, yeah. I got a little excited there. You know what I mean? I got a little excited towards the end of the show. We got ones here like Josh Allen or Trevor Lawrence and Bo Nix.
Yeah, like this is crazy.
Like you can't be making those trades. You can't go ahead and do Josh Downs, Bo Nix in a second, or Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts all day. And like I'm seeing, you can turn him into Bo Nix. You can turn him into Fields in a first plus 2 seconds. You can turn him into Fields, Kenneth Walker in a second. There's a lot of things you can do to turn Bo Nix. Like he's not a player that's hard to sell. He's actually probably an easy sell right now, I think. So I think if he's your QB3, I mean, some of these trades like Bo Nix or Justin Fields in a 26 first. Now all of a sudden you have a potential RB or QB1. Sorry, that was a Freudian slip calling him an RB1. But the QB1 in Fields, and then you get a first next year if he's your QB3, your QB4, and you continue to insulate and move back. Because Snoog, I think a lot of people really they look at that and they're like, well, I have 4 elite quarterbacks on my team. They're not scoring you points, right? Like upgrade the other 2, get yourself elite level, and then like this one, Bo Nix, a 27 first and a 27 second, or Joe Burrow and George Kittle. Like you go ahead and you get Burrow, you package it up. Yeah. The thing too with Bo Nix and Michael Penix, and another reason why I put both of them on this list, their age and the name cachet of both of those players is what'll hold them back from ever hitting a true value in Dynasty. I don't care how good they do. If they put up 4,500 yards and 30 touchdown passes next year, their name cachet and their age and just what people think of them is capped. Like I think Bo Nix can't go any higher than a QB9, QB8, QB10. And Dad got booted. But yeah, that's the thing with Bo Nix that I think is it's not that Bo Nix, he's back.
Hey,
it's not that Bo Nix is a bad player by any means. It's just like how I predict the market to value him and what you can get in his range. And the same thing with Saquon Barkley and that we talked about with some of these higher end names is the cost equivalent to where they're going in startups and where you have to take a player like that could make or break your team in Dynasty for the future.
So, guys, I mean, this has been a fun show. Sorry about that little technical difficulty there. But right now, I mean, we're talking about these dynasty sells before it's too late. Now's the time to sell. Get yourself out there ahead of the game. Best way to do that is there with our Patreon. Use code DAD30 for 30% off a year, or DAD50 for 50% off 1 month. Again, that's patreon.com/smash accept. So thanks again for tuning in, guys, and enjoy the process. I'm sorry.